All right, man. I told y'all, man. I want to be more consistent with this thing. I want to build this channel, grow. My goal, I think a good sweet number for me is like 5 times a week, 5 videos a week posting. I feel like that's a good balance. Not giving y'all too much and not giving too much to myself. I feel like five is the perfect number to keep me intrigued, keep me interested, keep me flowing. I'm getting better at editing the videos because I do edit the videos myself. So, of course, I feel like when you keep doing something enough times, of course, you get better at it, you get quicker at it. So I feel like that's becoming easier. Me getting through these videos, recording them, shooting them, and stuff like that, cutting them up, that's getting easier. So yeah, man. Of course, like I said, I want to grow this channel, man. Get consistent with y'all. Y'all get consistent with me, right? You like this video and you watch to the end. I'm going to say it right now. Don't forget to like the video, right? Also, don't forget to leave a subscribe because I feel like when you subscribe and like the video, of course, that's going to help the algorithm. And if you help the algorithm, then you're going to build this channel and help me grow. Let's work with each other. Let's get our feng shui on together, right? That's going to be our new word. I might put that behind the wall. Again, I don't know if y'all noticed, the wall is very blank right here. So I feel like I want to put something up on the wall, give it a little like decor. I don't want to put the I would say normal stuff like a degree or some certificates or a poster or something on there like that. Right? I want to get a little creative with mine. I want to do something, that's like, out the box a little bit. So if you got any recommendations or anything like that, or if you do anything yourself, let me know. Leave it in the comments. But let's go ahead and get to the video, man. If you can tell by the title, then you probably know what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about people's net worths. People nowadays are being more open about their net worth. And if you don't know what a net worth is, it's basically all your assets minus your liabilities. So basically, you would take anything you have in your bank account, investments accounts, anything worth any value, right? You would do subtract all your liabilities from that. So basically any debt you have, student loans, car loans, mortgages, credit card debt, things like that. Basically, if you have $30,000 right sitting in the bank, you have $10,000 worth of debt. You take your $30,000 minus $10,000 and you have $20,000 left. That will be technically your net worth, right? So that's just a little quick summary, a quick view, quick dive into what a net worth is if you didn't know. But I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you probably already know what it is. But anyways, I'm off my little rant, but let's get into it, man.
So I'm 33 years old and I have about a $370,000 net worth, which is a lot to some people and not very much to other people. Personally, I'm really proud of it because back in 2019, I had a negative $70,000 net worth and I didn't know anything about money. I was like stressed all the time about money. I couldn't handle a $500 emergency. I lived paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know what a 401k was. And part of that is because I spent most of my life believing I was just bad with money and that was just a character flaw. Since I thought you either had it or you didn't, you were either good with money or you're bad with money, I never went out to try and learn. I just thought the solution to my problem would be to find a partner who was good with money and then let them do all the money stuff. I didn't think I could learn about it. But when we do that, we're literally giving our power away over the most valuable asset we have, money. And let's be real, money is tied to literally everything. Our security, our ability to leave a toxic job, a toxic relationship, literally everything, therapy. Now, this belief of mine, it got me in some really bad, dangerous situations in my 20s where often I'd have to live with abusive exes because I didn't have any money to leave. And I was way too ashamed of the situation that I found myself in to reach out for help. And there were so many times in my early 20s where I'd have panic attacks from not knowing how the heck I was going to pay rent. I even went 15K in credit card debt for a super shitty ex. But thankfully, eventually back in 2019, I had this come to Jesus moment where I was like, all right, common denominator here is you, Chloe. And this whole let's rely on somebody else to come and swoop in and save us, it's just really not working. So I started educating myself on how to money. I started learning where my money was going. I started focusing on increasing my income as much as possible. And here we are now. So I've increased my net worth by almost $500,000 since 2019. I am super proud of that. But why am I sharing this, right? I'm sharing this because I want to answer your questions. So drop your questions down below. I do have an entire playlist of how I did this. But I also want you to know that big change can happen in a short period of time. But you have to take action. You can read all of the books, listen to all the podcasts, watch all the YouTube videos. But if you don't actually do something different, whether that's just trying things, nothing's going to change. So anyway, I'm going to start the year off doing another series on how I increase my net worth step by step. So ask your questions down in the comments.
All right. Shout out to Chloe, man. You touched on a lot of good points there, right? So the first point that I want to touch on is she basically said she had a come to Jesus moment, right? She started learning about money. She started doing basically financial literacy kind of things, right? And then she said, take action. I feel like that's the biggest thing. First, you want to realize where you're at, like she said, have some financial literacy or gain that financial literacy, and then you want to take action. I tell people all the time, right? You don't have to sit around and like people think you need this big bundle of money that you have to invest or save every month. I feel like you could start with $5 a week, $10 a week, $15 a week. And right now, like you're like, okay, maybe that don't seem like much, right? But it's more so about you building the habit and building the foundation to feel in a way like I don't need that $15. Eventually, I don't need that $20 every week. It was already going to something else, right? You are eventually going to buy coffee with it, right? Buy a snack with it, spend it on this, spend it on that, go get some food with it, whatever it is, right? Like, just getting a habit of just having that money automatically maybe invested, right? Have it automatically going into a high yield savings account. That's even me, what I do. I have a high yield savings account that's not even with my personal bank that I use every day, right? So I have it going to an account where I can go look at it, right? I don't have a card for it or anything like that purposely. I do it as, okay, this is a fund where I know I'm not going to touch. I'm just going to have it sitting there growing until the end of time or until I guess maybe just a rainy day really need that money. I know I have cash accessible over in another account that I can go get, right? And then I basically have my emergency fund and my main spending with my main bank, right? So I would even recommend something like that because I have it automated to set up and take out my account every week and just put a little money into that account, right? And then I also have money automated to go invest every week, right? Just set these little things up because then you get in the habit of, I don't need that money right now, or I don't need that money in general because it's already accounted for. It's already gone, right? And then the money that you don't have accounted for, you put that, okay, bills, living life, lifestyle, fun, whatever it is, right? That's what you now account that money for. Gains for financial literacy because the power of time. She did say one thing I don't necessarily agree with. She said the most important thing, most valuable thing you have is money. I would say I would concur, and I would say maybe money could be somewhere in the top five, depending on who you are, what your lifestyle is, and things like that. I would say time is definitely more valuable than money because even when you think about, okay, how do I put money away to invest long term, right? And I have 20, 30 years to do it. The stock market, right? Doing it something as simple as the S&P 500 with an average return of say 7 to 10% every year, right? You putting in money that throughout time, that'll give you probably a more, I would say, secure investment, secure investment strategy than just, okay, I'm gonna just have money, or I'm gonna try to find a way to make a lot of money at this one big swoop, right? Or figure out something that's gonna be very, very lucrative, right? Because nothing, even the stock market, nothing is basically 100% gonna happen, 100% confirmed, right? But if you look at something like the stock market in the S&P 500 that has a track record of constantly going up and up and up throughout history, no matter if it's went down and then gone back up through recession, bad economies, whatever it is, right? Look at right now, the tariffs and everything talk. Stock market has went up and down, seen highs and lows, right? All in 2025 alone. So take your time, gain some financial literacy, build good habits, right? Build credible habits that's going to help you. Everyone's habits look different, right? You could, like she said, you can go watch as many YouTube videos as you want to, go do this, read as many books, whatever it is, right? You got to eventually figure out the strategy that works for you. And also, don't be afraid to go slow with it because I feel like for me, I would say that's one thing I learned. I just kind of dove right into investing, saving, doing all these different things. And then I had to go, back and, slow roll it, change a few things, build a few things up, switch things around a little bit. But that's all a part of figuring out your investment strategy, your saving strategy, your goals, and what you want to accomplish, right? And that also ties into what is your lifestyle, right? Your saving goals and your investment goals and everything like that has to fit your lifestyle and how much money you want to spend per year, how much you want to spend in 30 years per year, right? Whenever maybe you're retired or, just living a good life, until your dying days, right? So figure all that good stuff out, gain some financial literacy and help yourself. All right, let's get back into it.
How old are you and how much do you have in savings?
I'm 36 and I think I have $800 left in savings right now.
Okay, cool. And what are you spending too much money on right now?
Orange wine. Don't need to buy that all the time. Yeah, just going out at all is very, very expensive, and theatre tickets are really expensive as well. But yeah, doing my best with things like I got this at a theatre show that was selling off old costumes, so that was a great way to save some money on clothes.
It's a great way. And what would you say is your net worth?
Oh, my net worth. Does that include super?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's probably not much. Maybe like 50,000, 75,000 in super.
Still decent.
Still something.
What is it that you're saving up for one day, or something that you want to save up?
Oh, definitely just to be comfortable in a house anywhere. I guess living in the city feels pretty out of reach for most people. So yeah, honestly, anywhere, even if it meant moving interstate.
So you've thought about purchasing property?
For sure, yeah. I mean, my family's been lucky that my aunt has been able to sort of show me the ropes and how that works. So I understand the long-term idea of having to save for it. It'll be something that'll take me the rest of my life to do, for sure.
Do you feel like you're in the same boat as your friends?
I think so. It feels like everyone is sort of surprised by how much everyone's rent went up recently. My rent certainly went through the roof. I'm only in Stanmore in the inner west. But yeah, I feel like everyone's struggling in the same way around here. We're in Newtown at the moment, so yeah, I feel like we're all kind of having to pinch pennies, right?
Well, look, we work for a company called Coposit, and we're helping people find new creative ways to get in the market to buy a brand new property.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out more, you can download.
All right, for him, he's kind of, I would say, in the beginner stages compared to the last video we just watched, right? Where that woman, she had all this debt that she mentioned, and then she built it back up in a few years, right? She said $500,000 worth of positive equity, and then of course some of that, she had negative equity with her debt and everything like that, right? But built herself back up. I would say he's in the beginning stages of that, and I would say some of that stems from obviously his habits, right? It's sounding like he wants to create good habits. He's aware. He knows that what he's doing sometimes and how he's spending isn't necessarily the best way to be spending or what's always good for him, but he's aware of it, right? Now, only thing he has to do is, like the woman mentioned before, take action on it, right? Put maybe a little bit more savings away, right? Because he is in his 30s, right? And he even said a little bit of he sounded like a little bit of lost hope was in him. He said, I'm gonna be saving for the rest of my life. Like, you don't have to save for the rest of your life, right? You have 20 plus years, I would say, of good life left. Like if you go say he retires at 60 years old, right? That's over 20 years right there you have to save and invest, right? Like, take advantage of the time you have now, and you can accomplish a lot. Accomplish a lot within a few years, right? Like the lady said, $500,000 positive equity in like 4 or 5 years, right? So if he can, not even have to match that, maybe match half of that or match a quarter of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be good within 20 something years, right? If he keeps the same trend she did, as far as maybe a quarter of what she did or half of what she did, and maybe a couple years, 4 or 5 years, then you have a good little piggy bank built up. That way, when you're retired, you can enjoy life a little bit. You're not just struggling living paycheck to paycheck, right? Again, I feel like for him, he just has to build a couple good habits, right? He's aware of it. Like I said, just, dive right into the actual investing and saving, because he did mention, like, hey, he got that one little suit he was wearing from a little some of the costumes that they were selling off at one of the shows. Maybe not go as many shows. Sometimes you might skip out on a couple shows too, my boy. But anyway, go ahead, save a little bit. There's some hope out for you, right? You still got time, man. You still young. Do your thing out there.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I just turned 24. I have a net worth of over $260,000, and let's talk money, y'all. No, I'm not a huge influencer. I haven't even been paid off of my content yet. I'm not an inheritance, person. I'm not somebody that's been doing forex scamming. I am your average corporate girly, and I've just learned a lot through books, podcasts, and honestly research. But what even is a net worth? In simple terms, a net worth is what you own minus what you owe. So what you own is like your cash and your savings and your debit account. What you own is a paid off car. What you own is essentially things that you could sell, like an asset, for instance. What you owe is like student loans, a mortgage, your credit card payments, anything of that sort. I think it's super critical that you are able to use money as a tool. That way it's not used against you in today's world. First up, my emergency fund. In my emergency fund, I keep about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and I think it's just really important to have a safety net. And in that account, I have about 53.6K. Next up is my health savings investment account, and this is an interesting investment account because it essentially allows you to invest tax-free, and you can use that money for any medical supplies or expenses. And in that account, I have about $2.4 thousand. The next account has been super important to my wealth building, and that's been my employee stock plan. I've essentially gotten stock through my employer through things like what I signed on for, promotions, and our purchase plan that we have throughout the year. And in that account, I have about $98,000. Next accounts are my brokerage accounts, and these are accounts that are essentially individual investment accounts, and they are subject to be taxed, which is why the longer you hold stocks, the better. This account, I have about $27.5 thousand. The next account I have is a 401k. This is essentially your employer retirement account, and it's also the way I think of like my future me, like giving her money even though I can't touch it right now. In this account, I have about $49.2 thousand, and I think it's super important to contribute to this account, especially if your employer matches it, because otherwise you're missing out on free money that the later version or future version of you can have. Next account I have is a Roth IRA. This is personally my favorite investment account. I feel like it's really great for people that want to get started in their investment journey because this is money that grows tax-free. There are contribution limits every year, but I think it's super important that you contribute as much as possible because you're kind of missing out on money given that this isn't a taxed account. This account for me, I have $31.2 thousand. Now let's talk assets. That would be my car because it's fully paid off, and it's the first car that I've ever had. It's about, I would just put it at like a modest $8,000. Now that I've talked about what I own, let's talk about what I owe. I actually have a $1.7 thousand student loan, and that came from me having my paperwork messed up in college one time, and I needed to take out a student loan. I don't see it as a priority to pay off given that the interest rate is so much lower than my return on my investment accounts, but eventually I will. I'm super grateful to have hit this milestone at this age. I have a longer version on my YouTube channel, and I have a budget link below for how I manage my net worth. I'll see you on my next video.
Kayla. Hey, look now, your boy know my name, know what Social Security is. But hey, I'm not gonna lie. Kayla is doing her thing. I was looking at the caption. It said black girls in tech, or say girls in tech or something like that, right? Hey, so that must mean she has a good job, a high paying job at that, right? To be having, she's only 24, so obviously she went to college as well. So that means she was able to avoid student debt, right? And then she had a high paying job right out of college. Obviously, you know, be 24 with an over $200,000 net worth, right? She's doing her thing for her. I'm not gonna lie, like, seeing videos like that, I'm honestly going to say really inspires me. And I know a lot of people out here, they're doing great things and they're doing their big ones, man. I would say to all that good stuff, man, it really inspires me. You know, seeing someone like that around my age, I'm only 25, doing big things, you know, reaching goals that either I want to get to or have already got to, but still we're on the same page. We can, you know, see one in the same, see one in the like. Like, I feel like it really gets me going. And I feel like that video, that's why I feel like I have a little more, like, bit more like giddy up now watching that video and seeing, you know, reacting to that and seeing her like accomplish all those good things, right? I feel like for me, I just can really appreciate that she has her head on straight. You know, she has a lot of good things going. She mentioned a Roth IRA, 401k. I'm assuming she had a high yield savings account. I don't know if she mentioned that, but I think she said she had a savings account for her emergency fund, things like that, right? So she just has a bunch of good investment accounts, right? She even has her medical HSA funds invested, right? Like, that's a very underrated account that very, very many people do not take advantage of, especially what she mentioned, it growing tax-free. Save some cash in it, right? Have a little cash portion of it. That's what I do. But also, don't forget to invest a portion of it, right? And let that money grow tax-free for you. Because guess what? Eventually, if you don't use it now, we all are going to get older. Something's going to happen. You know, you want to have a little piggy bank stored up to be able to take care of yourself, right? Health is wealth. That's how you're gonna keep being able to build these funds, you know, and get to Kayla's level and get to that $260,000 net worth. And I'm sure she's gonna reach $1 million with the rate she's going in no time, right? Shout out to Kayla, man. She's an all-star, man. I'm not gonna lie, she's really doing her thing. I'm gonna follow her, right? Because I want to see her journey. She said she also had a video that she posted, and it said it was at when she was age 23. So I want to go watch that, look at her progression and everything like that, you know, keep building inspiration from her. And yeah, I mean, hey, you never know, I might have to do a collab with Kayla one day. Kayla's fire, right? She got her stuff going on, right? I need to get some tips and tricks. I want to see what budgeting app she uses as well, because I'm intrigued. No, man, that's inspiring right there, man. If that doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what will inspire you, man. But if that does inspire you, then just go find something that does inspire you. But anyways, let's get back to the video, man. Let's get another reaction in, man, because Kayla set the bar high, man. So let's find another Kayla out there. All right.
Here's my net worth update as a 26-year-old trying to reach 1 million by the age of 35. This month, our home equity grown to $77,000, but we still do owe $150,000 on our home. Our taxable brokerage account is valued at $336,000. 401k at $49,600. Fidelity taxable brokerage account just over $80,000. Our Robinhood account is just under $11,000. Our Roth IRA is about $6,000. I also still owe a little bit over $3,000 on my car loan. Total assets equal $560,000. Total liabilities of my mortgage and my car loan payment equal to $153,000. This brings our total net worth to $406,465 at the end of the month. Make sure you follow for more updates.
Hey, shout out to bro. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, like over $400,000 net worth at age 26. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Kayla. Kayla's an all-star. But if it's just him, I'm wondering. Because I think he mentioned we in the video at one point. So I'm wondering if it's between him and maybe his wife or his girlfriend or something like that, you know, whoever it is, right? But I'm not all the way sure, right? But if it is just him, or if it is him and somebody else, I mean, they're doing their thing. He has plenty of time left, and he's already, I would say, almost halfway there to get to $1 million by the age of 35, which is his goal, right? But, you know, like, for me, again, I would say another inspiring clip, right? And I did say this was going to be the last video, but I feel like I'm going to watch one more, because I feel like watching some of these don't give a good glimpse of reality of what I would say that average person is doing, because I don't think everyone is a Kayla or everyone is this guy, right? Doing almost a $500,000 net worth at age almost probably going to be 27 when he reaches that goal. 27, 28, I would assume, right? If he keeps on the trajectory that he's on, right? So but yeah, to get back to it, he did have a lot of net worth, I would say, tied up in his home equity. That always isn't a bad thing, because I mean, like you say, he still does have a good amount to pay off. But I don't know, equity is one of those things, it fluctuates, goes up and down. He gained some, he said, I think it was like 5,000, it showed like that, right? But me personally, when I started, you know, get further along my net worth journey and get further along, and you know what I want to be invested in, have equity in, have stake in, all that good stuff, right? Me personally, I feel like what makes me more comfortable is having a house as far as an asset, car, whatever it is, right, that you can build equity off of and take value out of. Me personally, I would want more liquid, right? Now, that's not saying he doesn't have a good amount of liquid, because he obviously has that, right? He talked about Robinhood, 401k, Roth IRA, all that good stuff, right? Me, I want things to be more liquid, so I can either access that cash later on, or, you know, say, hey, I have $500,000 net worth, right, but 200,000 of it's tied up in a home, then really I only have $300,000 if that's actual liquid to grab from, or even say that's compiled up of other, you know, tangible things like a house, right? Then I personally, that for me, like, a roof over your head is one thing, right? That's value, right? That's good. But to me, that doesn't truly, like, I would say, bring me any real security, because I can't walk into the store and go be like, hey, yeah, here's a piece of my house, right? You know, I can't go buy no food with that, right? I can't go walk in to any place and just take some of these different things and be like, hey, this is this, you know, this is the value I have in this. Take it, you know, or unless, you know, liquidate that, borrow from your house off that. But then at that point, now you're causing negative equity against your home and everything like that, right? Me personally, I want more of that, liquid, net worth where it's easy money I can access and, things I can get, stuff like that, right? But let's watch more video and let's get back into it, man. Let's finish this thing off.
I feel like it's so hard to know what a normal net worth is for just a regular corporate girly. So I am going to share mine in hopes that other people will share theirs and we can start making money conversations more normal. I have been tracking my net worth for a while now, so I'm going to share where I was a year ago. In June 2023, I had a net worth of $10,780. I then spent the last year prioritizing budgeting, tracking all of my spending, and investing. So let's see where I am today. For my savings, which consists of my emergency fund and sinking funds, I have $17,465. Between my 401k and Roth IRA, I have $55,065 invested for retirement, and then my other investments total $4,420. This brings my total assets to $76,950. Now for the depressing part of the equation, my liabilities. So my largest debt is my student loans. I have $29,990 left to pay off. I do pay off my credit cards before they accrue any interest, but I do currently have a balance on them right now. So for my Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card, I have $1,025 to pay. And then for my Hyatt card, I owe $625. This brings my total debts to $31,640, which leaves me with a net worth of $45,310. From June 2023 to June 2024, I was able to increase my net worth by $34,530. And that's on working 3 jobs, living with a partner, and budgeting.
All right. Like I was saying, prime example. I feel like this is more of what she presented was more of the reality of the average American, right? Like one of her goals that she mentioned was she was working 3 jobs and her goal is to get to 100K by the age of 30 as far as her net worth, right? I feel like that's a real obtainable goal. I feel like that's what the average American is shooting for, striving for, trying to do, balance. She's obviously young, still have some student debt and things like that, right? Manage maybe credit card debt, car loan debt. She mentioned living with a partner. I'm assuming eventually maybe they want to buy a home if they don't already own one. I don't think they own one because she didn't mention a mortgage, but just figuring those things out, figuring life out, figuring all those nuances. I feel like that's where the average American is at, right? I feel like she's doing good. She has a plan. She obviously is aware of her debts, her liabilities, whatever you want to call them. So I feel like that's a good plan for her, good space, and on top of that, she lives with someone else. So hopefully she's putting some of that extra money. Maybe she's able to save working 3 jobs towards that debt so she can get that paid down quicker and then build that asset and build that piggy bank up even more and get to her goal of 100K by 30, right? I feel like a lot of this is inspiring me to want to create a net worth video. Right now, I don't have the craziest net worth in the world or anything like that, right? But I feel like at 25, I have done okay for myself, built myself up to have a good piggy bank. I'm debt free. I don't have any liabilities. I don't have a car loan or mortgage or anything like that, right? So like I said, a lot of the money that I do have and saved up and invested is liquid, right? So I'm able to go, access that money eventually, whether it's a retirement account or my investments accounts, able to go access that money when need be, right? This has inspired me to be a little bit more open because I feel like that's one thing for me this year I've been big on is being open about spending money. Well, not spending money, but like talking about money, how you spend money and things like that, right? So, but all right, man, if you stuck with me this long, man, I appreciate it, man. Leave a thumbs up if you like the video, man. Comment something down below, maybe what your net worth is, what your goals are, things like that, right? Where you aspire to be by a certain age, all that good stuff, right, man? Also, don't forget to subscribe, man. That'll really help build the channel. Like I said, I want to grow. I want to build this channel, build a community here, build face value where people actually just come watch me because they want to, right? So, man, if you could do all that good stuff, like, comment, subscribe, I would really appreciate it, man. And until the next video, man.